love dancing in VR, but as someone who trained IRL, I've begun to notice a pattern amongst other VR dancers who have not taken any classes at all. Just to clarify, this is not a hate video, this is just me trying to share some knowledge with y'all. Here are some common mistakes that I see people make. A lot of dancers in VR have collapsed posture. Especially with the headset being as heavy as it is, I have to work twice as hard to engage my muscles to have the correct posture. Number 2, a lot of VR dancers struggle with transitions. Because VR dancers only tend to copy what their friends do and don't have general knowledge about dance and movement, their transitions seem pedestrian or choppy. Even if your transition is a walk, especially when it comes to heels, learning how to walk in a heel is a massive part of the style. In real life, people get cut from auditions all the time just because they can't correctly walk in a heel. It's so important to not break the character of your body language. Problem number 3, your arms do everything while your legs do nothing or very little variation. This ties into TikTok dancing a lot. TikTok dances are very focused from the hips up, and it is extremely obvious when your legs are doing nothing at all or are doing the same positions every time. Number 4, VR dancers tend to struggle with musicality. Musicality in VR isn't the most talked about considering the delay between when you do the motion and when the other person sees it, because it tends to affect the musicality a lot, but it's still a major part of dance as a whole. Learning to really listen for the music is crucial with choosing how you match your music. Hi. Especially when it comes to an artist's tone, runs, melody choices, basses, everything. Everything ties into how you accent it, and in VR there's a pretty large lack of awareness for how to match your movement to the song. Number 5, not moving with intention. Most VR dancers focus on the limbs, but the intention comes from your core, your back, and most importantly, your heart. If your center is stuck, you can tell. While it's important to note that most VR dancers can make this less noticeable because of the curvature of the model being used, when comparing it to watching an IRL dancer, you can still very clearly see the difference. When you train IRL, you learn how to fix nearly all of these problems. The first fix is correcting your posture and placement when you're dancing. Your posture when you're dancing is an active posture that has a lot of opposition. Your core is engaged, your arm movements come from your back, and there's a lot of movement within your torso as well as your limbs. Fix number 2, how to transition different moves together without breaking character of the movement. Let's say I wanted to go from a split to standing. Because I've taken loads of dance classes and learned lots of choreography, I've learned multiple ways to get up off the floor. Because I spent thousands of hours learning them all, I can mash them up so that every time it looks different, but still authentic to what the artist is saying or the vibe that the song is giving off. Number 3, fresh ideas. On that topic, because I'm constantly learning choreography in different styles, I always have new ideas that I can throw into my freestyles when I'm dancing in VR. In fact, when I first started dancing in VR, I specifically pulled moves from choreography that I was working on, especially when they felt uncomfortable when I was first learning it. The repetition of sequences of moves I was struggling with helped reinforce my muscle memory and helped when I actually got to practicing outside of VR, and the practice of tossing things in that I was struggling with into my freestyle helped take the pressure off of it looking perfect, because I could always just finesse it into something else. Number 4, finishing movement. Something that I've heard from a lot of beginner dancers, not just in VR, but IRL as well, is that the movement feels awkward or that they lack confidence. The biggest part of the awkwardness is due to the fact that the movement doesn't look complete. Either they start the movement halfway through, so the pathway doesn't look as big, or they anticipate the move too much and the stagnant energy breaks the character. I'm not saying this is everyone, because there are definitely some good people who really like to, work on their craft and get their fundamentals down, but a good amount of VR dancers have skipped fundamentals either due to no classes in their area or because they lack the willpower to improve, and because of that, they have less tools to express themselves, or B, jump straight to tricks and potentially injure themselves. A friend of mine who does a lot of handstands, headstands, and other slow and controlled power moves has offered to help his friends in the past who asked him to teach them. And he told me, Ariel, I can't believe these guys are giving up and it hasn't even been a week and they don't have their handstand yet. Learning how to practice takes lots of time, repetition, and practice. If you're learning how to dance for the validation of others, then your heart is definitely not in the right place. Looking cool is not the same as dancing well, and if you want real technique inside of VR, that's exactly how I teach. Come find my classes. Thank y'all for watching. Bye!